Do you want to wake up feeling like you're stepping into who you're meant to be, into the best possible version of you? What if I told you that the key to your best life, health, and happiness are all around you? You just have to find what works for you. I'm Hope Pedraza, and I believe that there isn't just one way to live a healthy and meaningful life, and that all you need is a little inspiration to make changes that last from the inside out. Each week, I'll be sharing tangible tips and inspirational interviews to help you on your journey. These are the steps to take to improve your life and live with purpose. This is Hopeful and Wholesome. Hey y'all, and welcome to Hopeful and Wholesome. I am talking this month all about your thyroid. And so I wanted to pop in an episode for y'all to dive in a little bit here about your thyroid. And I know what you're thinking, like this is like the most boring topic ever. Why are you talking about this? And you're right, it doesn't seem very exciting, right? It doesn't seem exciting to talk about your thyroid. It's really not the sexiest part of your body, but really and truly, this is one of those things. I feel like it's one of those hidden things that is so often overlooked. And because really, I mean, when you're talking about weight loss, this is kind of the last thing on the list, right? Usually we're talking about calories or macronutrients or, how much you're working out and how much water are you drinking, all those other things. And sometimes it's a lot more than that, right? The reason you can't lose the weight, the reason you're feeling the way you're feeling has nothing to do with any of those things, right? And maybe partly, right? Maybe it has like a little bit of a role in that, but a lot of times it's a deeper issue at play. So the thyroid, while not very exciting at all, is a really important part of your body. It's this little tiny gland that produces a hormone that influences every cell and tissue and organ in your whole body. It literally affects every part of your body, and specifically your metabolism. So, I mean, that's just like one of the reasons why you should really care about your thyroid. And it affects so many people. So it's estimated that about 20 million Americans have some form of thyroid disease. And up to 60% of those with thyroid disease don't even know they have it. They're totally unaware of their condition. So that means you might not even know that your thyroid is affecting your health or your weight loss efforts or any part of your body, right? You have no idea that that's the issue. 1 in 8 women will develop a thyroid disorder in her lifetime. So women are even more susceptible to issues with the thyroid. And really, almost every single one of these is preventable. And I said almost every single one of these is preventable. So undiagnosed thyroid disease puts you at risk for so many conditions. And really, the list is endless, but just speaking in kind of like generalities here, but it increases your risk of heart disease, of osteoporosis, of infertility, autoimmune issues, and really so many more things. And it's really all about, taking care of your body before you experience the symptoms, right? Being proactive. It's about prevention because this is such an important part of your body, right? It's such an important part that is so often overlooked. Because here's the thing. There's a lot of things you don't know about your thyroid. Maybe you didn't know any of the things I just mentioned just then, but there's so many other things. So like I mentioned before about women, right? And the higher we have the highest percentage, right, of having thyroid issues. Women are 5 to 8 times more likely than men to have thyroid problems. So yeah, if women are kind of like already at a disadvantage when it comes to thyroid health. But here's the other thing. So many things that have to do with your thyroid, you have no idea, right? Like your gut issues actually could be thyroid issues. The bloating, the gas, the constipation, all those things actually could be related to your thyroid. Your quote normal thyroid levels actually could be really misleading and telling you the wrong story. There are so many people who go to their doctor, like their actual doctor, their physician, and they think something's wrong with their thyroid because maybe it's a weight thing. They're feeling kind of like sluggish, or they're cold all the time. They have some of the telltale symptoms, and they get the test done, and the doctor's like, oh no, your levels are fine, like just go lose some weight. Like like honestly, that happens so many times. And these normal thyroid levels can be really misleading because, and this, I don't say this to like bash physicians. Doctors are very crucial in our society. And I don't say this to like totally bash doctors, but a lot of times they're not testing for the right thing. And they're going to test your thyroid levels, right? Your thyroid hormone levels. And maybe they do another test to, check some other like precursor hormones to thyroid. But other than that, they're not testing other things, and that's not going to tell you the whole story. And in addition to all of that, your liver, your gallbladder, your pancreas, your intestines, all of that, the health of all of those organs could really determine the fate of your thyroid later on in life. So I'm talking about liver issues, gallbladder issues, pancreas, all of these things, the intestines, like your gut, these can really determine what happens to your thyroid later in life. So this is why I mentioned before, it's all about being proactive. It's all about, preventing the symptoms from even happening. It's taking care of your body in a way that's going to prevent all these things from happening. And it's taking care of your organs and all the things that, again, they're not the sexiest things to talk about. We don't really want to talk about taking care of our gallbladder or our pancreas, right? But these are the things that have to happen to the things that have to be taken care of to prevent something happening later on in life with your thyroid, and among other things, obviously, not just the thyroid, but it really does affect your thyroid. And it's just taking care of your whole body before you start experiencing those symptoms. Because here's the thing, when you start having many times you start having these symptoms, you go to your doctor because you suspect something's going on, and maybe your doctor suspects it's your thyroid. You run the labs, your levels are low, right? So you get on some medicine. She gives you some thyroid. It's like, synthetic thyroid hormone. And so, you start to feel better. Your levels go back to normal. And then pretty soon you start to experience some new symptoms, or maybe those old symptoms kind of start, happening again. You're like, well, what the heck, right? So now you have these new symptoms, and then, the old symptoms are coming back. So then you run more labs, you adjust the medicine, and then you just continue this. And it's just like this never ending cycle. And if you're listening to this and you've had hormone issues in your life, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You're like, yes, this is my life, right? I feel you. I hear this so much. And here's the thing. It's, you could totally just take the meds forever and stay in this cycle. How frustrating is that though, right? Like you're just in this never ending cycle of trying to figure out, how much thyroid medication to take. And then you have to deal with these side effects, because for real, there's some long-term side effects, potential long-term side effects to these medicines, to these, synthetic thyroids, meds that you're taking. And the truth is, you can totally do it differently, right? There's a different way to approach all this. And it goes back to what I was saying before about all these organs in the body that can affect your thyroid, right? It's, your liver, your gallbladder, your pancreas, your intestines, your gut, all of those things affect your thyroid. And so it's really getting down to the root of the problem. And I talk about this so much on social media because in my emails, because that's really the key to health, right? It's getting to the root of the problem. It's not treating the symptoms, which is exactly what you're doing when you're taking the meds, right? When you go get your levels tested, because that's the other thing. Your doctor, and again, I'm not bashing doctors. Doctors are important. Doctors are crucial. They're doing exactly what they were trained to do. But they're just treating the test, right? They're treating the test because the test shows that your thyroid levels are low. And they're like, okay, so we give you thyroid. They're not treating you as the whole person. They're not looking at your gut issues, your liver issues, gallbladder, pancreas, all those other organs, things going on in your body. Maybe there's some neurotransmitter issues, right? Some signaling not going right from your brain to your glands, to your pituitary. Like there's so many things that could be going on. There's so many things. And most doctors, they're not going to, unless you're going to like a functional medicine doctor or a functional nutritionist, they're not going to look at those things. They're not going to look at you as a whole, right? As like a person. They're just going to treat the test. They treat the test results. And that's really what, conventional medicine does, is they treat the test results. So this is why I want to spend so much time this month focusing in on the thyroid and how to improve thyroid function and how to prevent all of these things that I'm talking about from happening. And if you're already dealing with it, how you can you can prevent all of these side effects. You can stop the constant cycle of like changing the meds and changing all these things, maybe even get off the meds, because that is a possibility. I would tell you that as a fact, that is a possibility. You can get off the meds and totally reverse what you've been going through, right? And that's really what I'm talking about in my masterclass this month. And it's free. And that's why I wanted to put this episode out leading up to the masterclass, because
I cannot tell you, with like just the first couple posts that I've made about the thyroid, I have had so many people either message me or tell me like in person, like, oh my gosh, like I didn't know that about the thyroid, and have people kind of like, oh my gosh, I've had, Hashimoto since I was this age, and I can't wait to learn more about, how I can deal with it. Because while yes, sometimes your thyroid issues are autoimmune, I am fully aware of that. You can totally deal with it and thrive. You can totally prevent the symptoms and get off the cycle of these symptoms that you're dealing with. So in this masterclass that I'm having this month on November 18th, actually, so it's in a few weeks. The masterclass is called "The Truth About Your Thyroid and Thyroidism," and I'm going to show you the potential issues behind your thyroid issues, right? Like what could be at the root of the problem of your thyroid issues, all the possible things that could be the problem, and how you can stop those in their tracks, how you can build a healthy thyroid. You can prevent the symptoms, you can manage the symptoms, and even reverse all of that you're dealing with. Because it really is a lot more than just, what your thyroid levels are. It really is so much more than that. And even if you're listening to this and you don't have thyroid issues and you've never had thyroid issues, it's still totally worth learning all the things, because again, like I said, there's so many things that go on in your body that could determine the fate of your thyroid later life. And this isn't to like fear monger, like scare you into like, oh, you need to take, it really is the truth. And it's things that we don't think about, right? Your liver, taking care of your liver and your gallbladder, your pancreas, your intestine, your gut, all of that, it does affect so many other parts of your body, right? It's just looking at the body in a more like holistic, functional way and preventing potential issues. So I would love for you to join me in this masterclass on November 18th. It's going to be free because it's in my Facebook group, my free Facebook group. And it's going to stay up so you can watch the replay for a bit after the masterclass, but it really is going to be so informative and really shift the way that we're looking at our thyroid health, right? And I'm also going to have time for a little Q&A at the end. So if you're listening to this and you have so many questions about your thyroid and all of that, I am here to help and answer those questions. And if you want help with your thyroid, that is one of the many things I do as a holistic nutritionist and as an FDNP, which is a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner, is we really dive deep into what I was talking before, these deep-seated issues, right? Getting to the root of the problem and addressing you and your body as a person, not addressing, test results. And I run functional tests and screenings to really dive deep into what's going on in your body so that we can figure out where the healing needs to happen. So if you have any questions about that, what I do, if you want some more insight on that, do let me know. I'm going to put some links in the show notes, the link to the masterclass, a link to reach out to me if you have questions. And I hope to see all of y'all on November 18th. And I will see y'all next time.
Thanks for listening to Hopeful and Wholesome, y'all. If you found value in this week's episode, please subscribe on iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcast and leave a review to let me know what you thought. I'd love to know what you find useful in these episodes so I can know how to provide the most value I can to my listeners. And if you have topics you'd like to know more about, I'd love to hear those as well. So shoot me a message on Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn. It's @TheHopePedraza, or you can visit my website, hopefulandwholesome.com. Thanks, y'all.